Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another YouTube video. It's your boy, the Hungry Hornet, and today is the day. Today is the day we do the 12,000 mile owner's review for the Honda Hornet 750 2025 model. As you can see down there, we have 12,137 miles done. So I didn't get to catch it at the very moment it turned. Unfortunately, I've been very busy this past couple of weeks, so I thought it would be a good day to discuss the pros and cons of a long-term 12,000 mile owner review of the Hornet 750. Since February this year, that's when I bought it, February 2025, and it is completely and utterly still faultless. It still feels brand spanking new, still looks brand spanking new. Added a few modifications like the bar ends and a few extra tank paddy things just to stop the iridescent shine from being scratched. But besides from that, everyone else is a brand new, still to this day, original OEM, factory, whatever you want to call it. We're first going to talk about the tyres that this bike came with. The tyres that this bike came with are incredible. The Michelin Road 6s. So I have ridden this bike through different countries. I've gone touring on it to France about 3 times this year. The Midlands, not the Middle East, the Midlands. I've gone up to the north on this bike. I've done a fair few bit of mileage in the past 9 months. So this is 12,000 miles in 9 months basically. And it's gorgeous. It is, the tyres still have got as much tread as they did back in the day. Well, obviously I've lost some, so I'd say half the tread is gone. So I don't know, I reckon these tyres at a push could get, you know, a good amount. I reckon 18,000 miles until I need to seriously start thinking about whether it's worth risking it, because obviously the lower the tread gets, the more susceptible to the punctures you are, etc, etc. This bike has been faultless in that aspect. This bike has been absolutely faultless. The tyres have been absolutely faultless. It's been an absolute dream to ride it. I've got an extra bit of like an extra modification, I guess, to the tyres. I got what they call puncture protect on there, which is basically Honda's own version of sort of slime, I guess, goo. You know, they basically say that, you know, it will protect from punctures. If you get some, they'll seal up automatically. It's like 100 quid to do both tyres. If you use goop or anything like that, it's probably similar, but I have used these Honda puncture protect add-on when you buy a bike, when you buy some new tyres, since the dawn of time, since I've been riding bikes, and I can honestly say that whatever they put in there is great. I've not suffered a puncture with this stuff on. I've been through some, you know, I've done some miles, so, you know, knock on wood, you know, it's pretty good. I mean, I'd imagine like a really bad puncture would not be, you know, able to fix, but, you know, little dinks, because you'll get dinks. I don't know if you've ever looked at your tyres and seen like a stone sticking through and you think, fuck it now, how did that get there? How did that get there? And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you try to take it out and you hit, because it's punctured your tyre. So that's nice. Little shards of glass and whatnot can get in there. But so far so good. I mean, you know, I can't really argue with these tyres that they put on. I believe the tyres in America are different, so whatever they put on tyre wise in America is slightly different. I think they put on Dunlops in America, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know if, well, I know for a fact that Dunlops are nowhere near as good as Michelin's. I'd highly recommend the road tyres that they put on these, just on any bike. If you can get that, if you can get whatever they put in, I want to find out what it is. I think it's just called puncture protect. I'm sure a quick Google will do you justice, and that stuff is sublime. That stuff is good stuff, because the tyres make the bike, I think, you know, they're so grippy, they're nice and smooth in all weathers. Talking of all weathers, obviously the bike comes with 3 different modes, which is well, I think it's 5 modes really. So it's got standard mode, rain mode, so when it's a little bit slippery, sports mode, when you're trying to get the maximum power out of your bike. maximum acceleration, etc, etc. I've used all 3 of these modes, but it comes with 2 user modes as well, which is quite nice. You can then mess around in the settings and make the bike, you know, more ABS or more traction control or less, or etc, etc. So that's very nice. All in all, very good. The modes have come in handy when it's icy and wet and when it's raining loads. I've obviously put the rain mode on and it's been very good. You know, I've seen it work where it, you know, traction control wise, it's pretty good. The rain mode is really effective. I find the standard mode is definitely enough. Definitely feels like, even the rain mode feels like it can go a bit. It's currently in rain mode right now because it's a bit slick. I don't really notice the difference. Obviously when you whack back the throttle in rain mode, it's not as aggressive, if you like, and you feel a bit more planted to the floor. It's still got acceleration. You look, that's quite good, isn't it? The sports mode's very good, very fast, very responsive, and standard mode is, I think, you know, more than capable, more than enough. So those modes are great. I've not got a user mode that I've played around with yet. That's good. You know, it is what it is. As far as other little bits and bobs the bike comes equipped with, it's got, you know, it's got your standard high beam, low beam, hasn't got any fog lights on it, hasn't got any heated grips. I want to put some fog lights on it and I want to put some heated grips on it. So that's just modifications I'm going to make later on. Comfortability wise, the seat's very nice, the height's very nice, the bike feels very planted, as I said, and it feels very capable as a tourer. I've got panniers, the panniers that I bought with them. It's not currently on the bike, but they usually pop off and on and off. They're decent. It's enough to take myself and my wife to France for 5 days and have, you know, clothes and then have a backpack on her. It's not too bad. I haven't got a top box or anything like that. All in all, very decent little tourer. I haven't got a screen on it. I thought about getting a screen, but then I thought again. So, you know, comfortability wise, highly rate it. The seat's quite nice. The pillion seat isn't, something I'm working on changing, and I will change at some point, but just trying to figure out when and where, etc, to do it. Quite expensive to get the bagger seat that I want. Throttle's very nice. A lot of people think the throttle can be a bit snatchy. I don't personally believe it can. I don't personally believe it is very snatchy. It's just the right amount of, you get used to like the input that you have to put in, but it's very aggressive. So it's an aggressive bike, as you can see. I like showing you just then. You've got to be in tune with the bike, and you know, I've got 2 people behind me at the minute. We're riding out to Exeter. I could easily leave them in the dust. Oh, unfortunately one of them's on a Grom. I was going to bring my Grom out today actually. However, when I went on it, I noticed the chain was really slack, so I thought, you know what, actually I'm going to swap it out, because A, I can be bothered to you know, get my tools out, and B, it's like, you know, it's a nice enough day. I wanted to get the Grom out because one of the boys that I go out with on bikes, he's got a Grom, and it'd be nice to have kept the pace. But I don't speed when I know that I've got 125s with me. I don't. It might be a 60, but I try and stay till 40, 45 so they can keep up, so they don't feel left out. But yeah, back to the bike. TFT screen display is really nice. You know, the lights, you know, the lights that come on, like your warning lights, they're really good. Traction control light flickers on and off sometimes, lets you know that you're going to lose your ass end out, etc. As I said, the tyres make the bike feel very planted. The evenly distributed weight of the bike makes the bike feel very manoeuvrable. It's a very manoeuvrable bike. You can flick it into corners. I'm being a little bit stiff today with the riding for some reason. I think it's because it's just didn't really want to come out today, to be fair. So I'm not really a bit tired at the minute. I've been working a lot, so, and I'm fully aware that we've had some terrible weather this season, and this road is notorious for having gravel everywhere, so I don't want to, you know, put the guys behind me on risk. You got Billy on his SV650, and you got Connor on his blue Grom, so all very cool. Connor's got a 25 plate Grom, just like me. He's got a gold chain on this, I think, as well, so it's pretty cool. Fuel economy wise on this bike, it's okay. You're going to average about 50, 55 mpg. If we look at what I'm averaging now, 55. That's what we're averaging at the minute. Not bad. Doesn't come anywhere close to 115, 20 that I got on the Grom, but beggars can't be choosers. It's got a nice 15 litre tank, so it gets you, get you about 150 to 170 miles, motorway miles. Back roads, I don't know, this bike can get up to 65, I'd say, mpg, maybe 70. It is quite decent on the back roads. But obviously this is my little motorway, my little motorway mile muncher. So talking of motorways, the bike is very capable at high speed, obviously, nice acceleration, the brakes feel lovely, and to be fair, mate, it's like obviously I'm going through in depth of what the bike features, but when it comes down to it, this bike is an absolute dream. It's an absolute dream. I cannot imagine me parting ways with it. I'm very attached to this bike. I feel like I can get on it and go anywhere. It doesn't quite feel like a Goldwing. I'd love a Goldwing, but it doesn't quite feel like the comfortability of a Goldwing, or or reverse, as if you like, if you're that way inclined. But it definitely feels like its own little thing. It's definitely a gorgeous little bike that's got a lot of character, and it's really good for someone of my height, 5'8". I flat foot the bike pretty well. I feel confident on this bike. Something a bit bigger, like I did the the SV650. I've ridden Billy's SV650. That's a bit bigger. It feels a bit bigger. A bit it's a bit heavy, a bit top end heavy, I think. So I quite like a well balanced bike, and obviously get used to what you get used to. The headlamp's really great on this at night. It absolutely illuminates everywhere. You can see really, really well. It's just a class bike. It's just like, it's just such a nice bike. I mean, I've got, as I said, 12,145 miles now on this beast, and I could do another, and this is all in 9 months. I did some serious riding, and I'm going to do some serious riding next year as well. I've got some absolute serious riding planned in, and I can't wait to put another 20-30,000 miles on it next year, where I'm going to go and visit. I'm going to try and go down to Italy on this. I think that'd be quite nice. I'll be changing the tyres though, and just to, I'm not going to risk putting on more than 15 to 20 for 18,000 on it, even though it seems like it's, they're fine. The last thing you want to do is go on a long trip and then realise that you're starting to show, wear bars, But yeah, so, to summarise, the Honda Hornet 750cc 25 plate, or 25 model, whatever you want to call it, is an absolute dream to ride. Absolute dream to ride. An absolute machine, spirited machine. It's a gorgeous looking bike. It sounds nice. It's comfortable, it's responsive, and I had literally not a single issue with this bike. I don't have a single gripe with this bike. If you ask me about the Grom, I could say a few things I'd maybe dislike about that bike. For instance, the chain just gets loose all the time, even though it's a heavy duty chain, and the seat I find a bit uncomfortable. But this bike, I'm trying to wrap my brains to think what is it about this bike that is crap. I can't think about it. I mean, maybe it's a little bit heavy on the fuel. It likes to drink, but then again, you gotta remember, I've only been riding full license for nearly 2 years in June in 26, so I'm used to a 125. I'm used to not filling up as much, whereas like I take this out, I had a full tank at my house just now, and now look, fucking quarter tank's gone. It's just life, isn't it? Now, the sort of person that would really like this bike is a person that enjoys the freedom and lightweight. That's another plus. This bike's light. You can literally maneuver it physically, if you need to. You can even lift up the back end, really. It's quite, it's 190 kilos, 193 kilos, I think. It's a dream. It's an absolute dream. The chain's brilliant. The chain hasn't really slacked that much. Obviously I've serviced it and lubed it. It cleans well. The radiator's lovely. It comes with a nice rad guard. Everything's just absolutely fantastic about this bike. The only thing I didn't like was the bar end, so I took that off. So this bike is for the adventurer out there that likes a bit of a thrill, likes a nice comfortable bike. It makes a nice sound. The twin engine's very nice. You just cannot argue with this bike. So, you know, 12,000 miles in, would I recommend the Hornet 750? 100%. You know, do I want to put 100k on it? Yes. I want to put 100,000 miles on this bad boy. I want to see how far we can take this bad boy. I want to see where we can take it. I'd love it. My dream is to put 1,000,000 miles on a bike. 1,000,000 miles. I'd love to put 1,000,000 miles on a bike. You know, what sort of bike would I put 1,000,000 miles on? I think the Hornet would be a great challenge to put 1,000,000 miles on it. Obviously, you know, you could get 1,000,000 miles on a GS, you know, like a big adventure bike, or 1,000,000 miles on a 1,000,000 miles on a Grom would be fantastic. So, but yeah, like yeah, 1,000,000 miles on a Goldwing, people might not be that impressed. They might just be like, oh, but 1,000,000 miles on a Hornet. I think a lot of, you know, modern bikes can do it. You know, a lot of modern bikes can do 1,000,000 miles, mate. They can definitely do 100,000 miles. You know, I'd love to get to the point where I don't need an engine, like I get to 100,000 without an engine rebuild. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, you know, physics wise, is it? I don't know. I'm not one of these guys that changes the oil every 1,000 miles. That's an absolute waste of oil. You won't see a benefit in that. You know, modern oil, you know, last, you know, 8,000 miles in a bike, 10,000 miles on a bike, and you'd still get that. You know, you're just wasting money there. I know that there's a thought process to it, and a lot of people that have 1,000,000 mile cars have done that, put oil in every 1,000 miles, but that'd be stupidly expensive to do that. So, you know, so I don't really prescribe to that idea. I've not tried it. I don't think I'm going to. But yeah, another thing I forgot to mention is the visibility of the bike at night. Like, you know, that others can see you. It's got some really nice running lights. You know, the indicators are continuously running orange, which I think looks nice. You can see at the background now, you see Connor on his Grom, which looks fucking awesome, by the way. A bit jealous, I don't really mind now. You know, it's got this really nice look. It's got this pops, doesn't it? You can see him, you know, and that's good. You know, he's very visible, and that's what, you know, it's the same with the Hornet. Let me know what you guys think of the Hornet 750. Obviously, nice milestone video at 12,000 miles. Quite proud of that. Can't wait to get there a bit higher. You know, obviously, I reckon by the time we get to December, I reckon we'll be at 13 to 14. Probably do another. I reckon we'll do another 50. We'll do a 15,000 mile review, I think, and then a 20. Then we'll go up in 5s. Or maybe 10s, you know, see. Let me know what you guys think of the Hornet 750. I mean, I'm a little bit tempted to get this bike in the 26 model, just because I like, there's a really nice colour that they're bringing out, but it's not worth it, is it? It's not worth it. Do a swapsy poos, but no, this is I think this is the one. You can always wrap the bike, can't I? You can always wrap it in a new skin. Maybe that's the next step. Wrap the Hornet in some trick ass colours. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I've been the Hungry Hornet. You've been incredible. Until next time, keep rocking and keep rolling.